This project is an immersive experience which aims to create awareness on climate change. This project focuses on different development policies which can be implemented by authorities to tackle the climate change along with its socio-economic problems. By using the virtual reality headset Oculus Quest 2 and its controllers, the user is placed in a gamified experience of a simulation where the user has been given the authority as a mayor of the town to choose and implement three different policies, which will simulate the environment accordingly to showcase the different positive and negative impacts on the socio-economic developments and its effects on climate change. Climate change for an individual is a very different understanding than for communities and for governments. The project is to make the masses aware of the bigger and broader plans that have to be implemented to tackle the increasing temperature. I started my research by updating myself on the subject of climate change by studying multiple articles and videos and having discussions with my friends who are studying climate change. I narrowed down my idea to visually showcase the various future narratives which are provided by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, called Shared Socio-Economic Pathways, SSPs. I try to simplify the data to create visual scenarios of these narratives. I came to a conclusion to use game development engine Unity 3D to create the interaction and environment using the modeling software 3ds Max to create assets for the scene. First, the project was broken down into multiple scenes for easy flow and navigation for the player. To navigate through scenes, a script was written in Visual Studio C. To implement this script, the idea of a button was conceived as it's the simplest form of interaction and a call for action. Now, the next step was to create the environment of the fictitious town called Barrows. Barrow-in-Furness is a town situated in North England. It is a coastal town which was researched upon and shortlisted. During this research, it was found that the impact of climate change in the next 30 years would be devastating on the town. Thus, taking this town as a model and taking creative liberty to use the name and its planning would suit best our experience. Post this stage, images of the boroughs and throughout towns in England were used as a reference to understand the housing and commercial structures that need to be created for the town. Once this was achieved, modeling was started in Autodesk 3ds Max, where a few models were imported from the free asset store online and a few models of housing and business centers were created. The models needed to be in low poly count as we are showcasing the entire town multiple times. The baked textures help model look game ready if not realistic. The integration of VR headset Oculus Quest 2 had to be done by using the XR Origin and XR integration. With the help of this, the project could be played in real time and modification and alteration could be done simultaneously. All the checklist was completed in order to start placing and modifying the scenes. In the introduction scene, the three images will be placed one after the other with a delay of 10 seconds for the user to read and get mentally prepared for the experience. The main scene. Here we have the scene set up as the mayor's office, which overlooks the town from the balcony. As a part of curiosity, a night scene idea was introduced. Also here we have established a simulation machine which is placed in the office, which has multiple screens in front of it. Two of those screens showcase the town demographics and the warnings, and the center screen plays a video of the weather report. The current state. In this scene, by using the town planning references, all the building models and assets were arranged to make it look like a town in the current year. The cluster of buildings which included houses, corporate buildings, universities, libraries, industries, and churches. The weather has to be stimulated, so an HDRI sky was used from a free online resource and then was color corrected using Photoshop. Distortion animation was given to the sky to simulate moving clouds. There was an audio introduced which simulates the town noises and an introduction voiceover. Similar weather modifications and rearranging, adding and subtracting of assets were done to the other scenes to achieve the visuals according to their policies. The project was then tested with various people and feedback was implemented.
it's a great experience, really. Um, I feel that it transmits the intended message really well. It's interactive and it's easy to understand for both, for any kind of audience, regardless of their age.
The experience was really good. I could see text properly, read everything really well. The best thing I loved in the scene was the smoothing skies and the temperature. The video was quite clear, but the text on the left was not that visible. It's kind of blurry, and so I need to hold the oculus this week so that I can read the text. But overall, it was a good project. I really enjoyed seeing it.
Overall, it was good, but the few things I need to point out was, firstly, when you go into the scene, the text is very readable, and then you click and then there's next text, which is good. When you click on the options and then it takes you to the policies, it's not that clear, but then you can tell from the overall environment in the scene that yeah, something's happening, and then how it's gradually changing into other scenes, which is good. Yeah, basically that's all.
I understood what the climate change experience was aiming to accomplish. The directions on navigating the project were very clear and concise, while also being interactive and immersive. I got to experience all three scenarios on how different decisions would affect the way climate change interacts with our environment. Some of the results were really calming, and others were more alarming and a bit scary, but having that effect really brings light to the issue. I enjoyed the current interactivity of the project. I think it could also be improved on by giving options to look at the environment from different angles, whether it be through camera angles or having more space to explore, but overall the purpose of the experience was very clear and communicated very well.
I believe this project has the potential to be a part of an installation or an exhibit in the private or public museums, where people from all age groups and classes can experience and be aware of the broader aspect of climate change.